In my most anticipated musicals of the 2024-2025 Broadway season video, I mentioned that initially I did not have any interest in seeing this revival of Once Upon a Mattress. I find the show to be outdated and overdone. I mean, who hasn't seen a high school production of Once Upon a Mattress? And while the idea of Sutton Foster starring with script revisions being done by Amy Sherman Palladino sparked my interest, I wasn't sure if this revival would be successful in bringing anything new to the story. I want to disclose that I did see the show during previews. I usually try to see shows as close to opening as possible, so click subscribe to be notified when I upload a review. With this being a transfer from Encores, I felt confident that the show won't change too much before opening. I did not see the Encores production, but from what I saw of the promotional material, the Broadway version is less of a concert and more of a developed musical. However, director Lear DeBessonet keeps the music of Mary Rogers front and center, which makes the production feel like a celebration. I underestimated how much joy it would bring me to hear Rogers' music live with a full orchestra. And it was nice to have a show with an overture. I miss overtures. I have to admit, I even got some chills when one of the show's musical themes played during the overture. I was like, ooh, that was really nice. My audience, though not full, was very excited to be there for two reasons. One, Sutton Foster, and two, the music. I expect that nostalgia will play a big role in how audiences enjoy this production. While revisions have been made to the source material, it still feels very much like Once Upon a Mattress, a retelling of a classic fairy tale that doesn't take itself too seriously. Amy Sherman Palladino's revisions fit nicely with the tone of the original, with only a few modern words and phrases added to appeal to today's audiences. The book itself, originally written by Jay Thompson, Marshall Barer, and Dean Fuller, is silly, but not laugh out loud funny, though this may just be a result of how far comedic musical theater has come since Once Upon a Mattress originally premiered in 1959. The physical comedy performed by the cast and a heavy use of props are what elevate the silliness of the script to something more humorous. This show has always been a vehicle for its leading lady, and Sutton Foster is perfectly cast in the role that made Carol Burnett a household name. She is the only actor to make me truly believe that Winifred is a shy person. I couldn't believe it. Foster's Winifred is overly eager to compensate for being in an unfamiliar setting, and it makes her all the more endearing. Shy is one of the most famous songs from the show, and the team here does it justice. It is a culmination of everything that works about this production mixed into one joyful number. I want to applaud Skylar Fox, who is responsible for the physical comedy and effects of Once Upon a Mattress. Sutton Foster's physical comedy in this show is on the same scale as Lucille Ball and, of course, Carol Burnett. At one point, the woman sitting behind me actually said out loud as she was laughing that she couldn't breathe, and it made the people around us laugh even harder. Dauntless and Winifred's attraction to each other feels much more clear in this version. They are two weirdos with similar interests that identify and love the weirdness in each other. Though nothing new is done with the role, Michael Urie's Prince Dauntless is a perfectly acceptable portrayal, and I still think he is perfectly cast opposite of Foster. Though I must admit, I was disappointed with the song Man to Man Talk in this version. The staging, it felt off and almost like an afterthought. Urie spends most of the number looking and singing directly to King Sextimus, which would be fine for TV, but it didn't feel as dynamic as it should have for the stage. David Patrick Kelly is adorable as King Sextimus, and I am pleased with the changes that have been made to his character. He is still mute, but the ongoing gag of him chasing women around the stage from the original version has been cut, and I'm glad to see it. However, I did find it strange that Dauntless was given a moment where he gropes Winifred. The action is an accident in the context of the story and is meant to add shock value. I just felt it was a bit juvenile and unnecessary. It was an attempt for an easy laugh, and Winifred also looks, understandably, uncomfortable when it happens. Another character does enter the scene, so it could be argued that that's why she looks so uncomfortable, because her and Dauntless were caught up in this unflattering misunderstanding. But it looked like, I don't know, from where I was sitting, it looked like Winifred was looking at Dauntless. So it took me out of the story because their relationship up until that point is adorable. I really hope that that moment gets cut or changed before it opens officially. As for the rest of the cast, it was really exciting to see Anna Gasteyer as Queen Agravain. She is a great foil to Foster's Fred. There are no major changes to the character, but Gasteyer fully commits to the role, and her reactions to the characters on stage really helped sell the comedy. She has a monologue in Act 1 that even received quite substantial applause. Nikki, Renee Daniels, and Will Chase play the other set of love interest, Lady Larkin and Sir Harry. Their voices are heavenly together. I want a recording of the two of them singing Yesterday I Loved You so bad. Daniel's voice in particular was a pleasure to listen to. She does a really great job at playing the straight man in her scenes, and Chase's Sir Harry has the perfect amount of narcissism, which makes him a charismatic himbo. Brooks Ashmanskas is hilarious as the wizard, and his magic tricks are delightfully cheap, yet also impressive. He really makes the most of his time on stage. I really enjoyed his scenes with Jester, played by Daniel Breaker. I am a huge Daniel Breaker fan, and he does not disappoint. His character acts as a narrator to the story, and Breaker has a way of making it feel like he is talking directly to you. I even have to admit, Breaker's performance of Very Soft Shoes in Act 2, it moved me. It got me emotional. I don't really know why. And I have to say, his costume was my favorite out of everyone's. The small but mighty ensemble might just be the special sauce of this revival. They keep the story moving and expertly support the lead players. I do have some questions about some of the creative choices. At one point, the show parodies a chorus line and a modern-day casting call by having some actors hold up headshots and resumes, which were actually made to look as though they were printed in medieval times. And I wish this same choice was made for the other modern day elements featured in the show. For example, those same cast members, they were wearing modern day Letterman jackets on top of their medieval dresses for seemingly no reason. Also, at one point, Lady Larkin enters with a bright pink rolling suitcase that looks like it was purchased directly from TJ Maxx. And it wasn't even like a ye old TJ Maxx, it was just a TJ Maxx. I wish more creativity had been put into these elements to make them feel as though they fit the setting and time period, kind of like how an escalator is operated in the film Ella Enchanted, or how cars move in the Flintstones. Now, this is a fantasy set in an undisclosed time, so it's not for me to say what should and should not exist in this universe, but I think there was a missed opportunity for the production to feel fully realized. For those wondering if the show is family friendly, there were very young children in attendance the night I was there, and it seemed like they were having a lot of fun. It was infectious to hear them laugh, especially when Sutton Foster was attempting to make herself comfortable on top of the 20 mattresses. And yes, I counted. There were 20. I would suggest sitting slightly farther back than where I was seated if you care about having a better view of Winifred on top of the mattresses. Here is a view from my seat. I had excellent visibility, but did have trouble seeing on top of the mattresses. I couldn't imagine sitting any closer to the stage. However, Foster is able to include the first few rows in her performance by hanging off the edge of the bed. The preview I saw had 0 audience participation if that is something that you are concerned about, and I don't expect any moments will be added before opening. However, I should warn that the first few rows are a bit of a splash zone, and you might catch a prop or two if you are seated close to the stage. So is this revival of Once Upon a Mattress worth seeing before it closes? I think you should see it if you are a fan of Sutton Foster and want to see her in a role that fits her like a glove, or if you love the music and would like to hear it played by a large orchestra. I would also suggest this show for families, as it has a little something for people of all ages. Once Upon a Mattress is a delightful show. This revival has just the right amount of tricks to keep it visually interesting. There are many surprises and visual gags to distract from the paper-thin story. That wraps up my review of Once Upon a Mattress, currently playing on Broadway at the Hudson Theater. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel to be notified when I upload new videos. Thanks for watching.